this unit is not dismantled, we'll be giving the name of the building and the full names of that officer and his cousin in this administration. And these people are not answerable to the Inspector General of Police. Your guess is as good as mine as to who is the commander of that unit.
And we know that the abduction squad is made up of Kenyans and foreigners, select Kenyans, and it's outside of the police force. You remember Kanja being asked by Parliament and saying that it is not the police. To some extent, he may have been somewhat truthful, and he may have revealed without knowing, confirming what we said in a press statement, that the abduction squad has select people, mostly from Ruto's ethnic group, a few others, and they're both from military and police, foreigners from Uganda, from Burundi, and God knows what other countries, and their command is outside of the police force. So it's only William Ruto who can tell us, because the buck stops with him.
Asked to substantiate her claims,
to prove that it reports to him. How did Ugandan military enter and arrest Besigye in Kenya? They cannot operate without the knowledge and support of Kenyan authorities. They passed the border because we have gotten information from our clients. So what we are having is rule gangster style. Gangster style, abducting Kenyans, killing some, torturing others. Gangster style, abducting foreigners to Turkey, to Uganda, and letting gangster style people from other countries operate as though they were Kenyan security agencies.
But to DCI, you must make use of the laws that we created and we enacted in Parliament back in 2018, specifically the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act of 2018. I know it had challenges in court in 2019, but the same courts reaffirmed that law. And all the provisions of that law, if the DCI are not aware and if the police are not aware, are fully in force. All they need to do is to implement that law to end these shenanigans of people insulting each other left and center with impunity and imagining nothing can happen to you.
Kenyans and some leaders are not happy with how Ruto is handling young men who are criticizing his government, since Gen Z protest abductions have been happening. But Kenyans now are tired and are saying enough is enough. Kenyan rights groups, lawyers and politicians voiced grave concern Friday over a fresh spate of abductions targeting government critics.
We have credible sources who have indicated that there is a special abduction stroke killer squad, which is comprised of both police and army officers. And this squad, we are told reliably, is based somewhere in Karen, near the DP's residence, and another wing of it is based in Orepolos, in Kajiado. These people also are joined, and mainly this squad is drawn from Dr. Ruto's ethnic community. We are not saying it's all members of the community, but this squad is made up of people he has picked from his community. They are also joined, we are reliably told, by foreigners, fellow East Africans from Burundi, from DRC, and from Uganda, and God knows where else. A regime that finds it necessary to create a squad outside of official channels to abduct, murder, and terrorize citizens is a regime that has lost legitimacy and that should be forced out of power. This targeting of activists, journalists, and youth is a direct assault on our constitutions, on the right to life,
principles of equality, justice, and freedom. Kenya must not be a place where families live in fear that their loved ones may be taken in the night or any time of the day, never to return. The right to life and liberty, as I've said, enshrined in our constitution, must be upheld, not selectively, not conditionally, but absolutely.
In northeastern Embu town, where a 24-year-old man, Billy Mwangi, disappeared last weekend. Still on the same, they have declared major protests in Kenya major towns on 31st December 2024. Also promised Ruto Regime held demonstrations in New Year 2025 if the abductions will not be stopped. Security forces in the East African nation have been accused of carrying out dozens of illegal detentions since youth-led anti-government demonstrations in June and July. Thank you for turning in. We are about to get deeper. Please subscribe to our channel, like this video, and turn on notifications. You can also leave a comment. What do you think about the abductions, which have been increasing day by day? Thank you. Now guys, let's get deeper.
Let me emphasize that killing our children will not quell the anger of the Kenyan people. People are very angry with this administration. Abducting young people is not a solution. You must address the cause of the disquiet, of the discontent. Why are people aggrieved with this administration? That must be dealt with. Abducting these children and killing them is not a solution. And I must remind my friend and brother, Dr. William Ruto, that since independence, no government has ever gone for children. This is the first administration in the history of this country to target children for repression and persecution. Even the colonial administration, brutal as it was, it never went for the children. And the question the president must address is simple. Why has everybody turned against you and the administration in only 2 years? That is what you need to interrogate, instead of persecuting these children. Again, he must understand the law of nature. Nature abhors vacuum. When you swallow the opposition and there is nobody to hold you to account, when you capture Parliament and other institutions of oversight, since nature abhors vacuum, other formations will emerge to oversight you and hold you to account. And that is how the church has come up to hold the government to account. And that is how these young Kenyans have come out to hold the government to account. In the unfortunate event that these children were to be muzzled and silenced through death and abductions and other extrajudicial methods of silencing dissent, some new formations will also come up to hold the government in check, because nature abhors vacuum. So the amount of repression that is going on in the country is unparalleled, it is unprecedented, and it needs to come to an end. I have just learned we have a prayer meeting in Shamata Ward in Nyandarua tomorrow, where I have a farm. The residents of that ward normally meets once in a year for prayers to close the year. We have prayers tomorrow. And the police commander there in that county is intimidating leaders to cancel those prayers, that they will not be allowed to take place, that they need a permit. I want to tell the county commander in Nyandarua that you don't need a permit to hold prayers. Again, is this repression by this administration. Even if you stop the people of Nyandarua from holding prayers, that will not change their political views of what they think about this administration. I want to say the prayers will go on. I'll be in attendance with the residents of Shamata. And if the police want to come and stop the prayers, they can go ahead. But that will just enrage the people even more. And those tactics of using police to stop prayers were tried by the previous administration. And the president knows how it worked out. You just agitate people more. You make people more rebellious. There is no need for police to interfere with people's rights of expression, of association, and the freedom of worship. So I want again to ask the Inspector General of Police to tell his county commander in Nyandarua not to interfere with the rights of the people of that area to hold prayers and to congregate to pray together, because those rights are guaranteed in the Constitution. And this is not the way to deal with dissent and discontent. Let the government take time to find out why people are unhappy. Why are people so discontented with this administration? But try to stop people from meeting, from congregating, will not solve any problem. It will just magnify an already bad situation. And I can tell them it will not work. It's an exercise in futility. So good people, I just wanted to make those remarks about abductions, and I can answer one or two questions if there is. Kosawa? I don't know whether Uhuru is going to Ruto. I don't have such information. But I have said many times, the people of this region don't follow leaders. It's leaders who follow the people. I don't follow anybody myself. I only follow the people. I have said I have very extensive consultations with the people of this region so that we decide what is our political destiny. That consultation is ongoing. It's going on. It's very extensive. It's very thorough. And it's what I'm doing here. When you walked in, I was having some consultation, and I continue to do so. I'll never follow anybody. I'll always follow the people. Yeah. Thank you very much. Asanteni sana.
The latest disappearances have been primarily young men who have criticized President William Ruto online. Police have denied involvement, but activists have questioned why they appear not to be investigating the disappearances. The Law Society of Kenya, LSK, said recent denials by the Inspector General of Police were insufficient, calling for him to take clear action against the kidnappers or resign. If indeed the police are not complicit, LSK said, they must immediately investigate and prosecute those responsible. Human Rights Watch said earlier this year that its research pointed toward a unit drawn from multiple security agencies. Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, who was ousted after clashing with Ruto over the protests, also alleged on Friday that a secret unit was behind the disappearances. Abducting these children and killing them is not a solution. This is the first administration in the history of this country to target children for repression, Gachagua said at a press conference. The Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, KNCHR, said Thursday that there had been 82 abductions carried out, clandestinely, with unidentified armed persons, since June, with 29 still missing. It listed 7 people who had been abducted since December 17th. 2 of them, Mwangi and Peter Muteti, were taken shortly after sharing AI-generated images of Ruto dead. The Kenyan judiciary said this week that abductions have no place in law and indeed are a direct threat to the rights of citizens.
He would not still be abducting young men just because they created satire on social media. If there is something alluding to death, surely which human being doesn't know that one day they'll die? It's not a criminal offense. It may be distasteful. I will not smile if someone is wishing me dead, but I will not sue them. I will not lift a finger. The worst I can do is to block them on my social media. If you want to sit on the top seat in the country, you better arm yourself with asbestos. Don't easily catch fire. Don't be ignited that quickly, because you're going to harm and hurt people. That behavior of arresting young men because they have created satire is the same behavior that made him cause the execution of so many young people. He was frightened of losing power, so he sent snipers to kill young people. That same behavior is the one that intolerance is the one that is making him continue with abductions.
You know, police officers are always at the forefront in the defense of the rights and freedoms of the people. That is actually our training, to defend the rights of the people. You see? So, now, abduction does not come there, because when you are abducting, you are not defending the rights of those people. But when you are arresting, you are defending the rights, because somebody must have committed an offense against the property or another person. You see? So we are guided by that ours is to defend the rights of and freedoms of the people.
In a post on X on Thursday, it urged security agencies and all connected entities to adhere to the law to safeguard fundamental rights and freedoms. The anti-government demonstrations earlier this year were sparked by proposed tax hikes, triggering the worst crisis since Ruto took power in 2022. While large-scale rallies have mostly stopped, anger against the government has simmered, fueled by a cost-of-living crisis and continued allegations of brutality by the security forces.
Mambo ya watu kuwekwa kwa jeneza na mambo ya misuse of computers and cyber crimes. Yangu itakuwa ni kuchallenge DCI. Kama iko watu wamefanya makosa ya misuse of computers and cyber crime, arrest them and make it public that you have arrested people and take them before courts of law, so that it becomes a deterrent to those who are misusing computers, artificial intelligence, not only to insult and to do very uncouth things, very uncivilized things. Na niwaulize pia vijana wetu, tukuwe na heshima. Hata kama huniheshimu mimi kama kiongozi, heshimu familia, heshimu watu na jamii ambazo hao viongozi wanatoka kwake. Leo tunaweza sema humpendi Speaker Wetangula, lakini kumbuka ako na mzazi na ni mtoto wa mzazi. Ako na watoto, ni baba ya watoto. And the same respect we expect as Kenyans. let us extend the same level of respect to each other, to our leaders, both in the political arena, in church, because I've seen the same insults being leveled against even our church leaders. But
to launch our digital OB, 1st April next year. So we are already moving very fast actually. After the launch of our strategic plan, we did hit the ground running so that we can be able to move and ensure that by April we are there. So many other services that are rendered by the police are also going to be brought up on the platforms of the e-citizen platforms and many others, such that you can be able to access them that way easily. We want to make work easier for the Kenyan people. My plan is to ensure that our police stations becomes centers of excellence for police operations and centers through which the public are served. I know it is not a walk in the park. I'm aware of that. But then, what encourages me most is that we have got full support from our government. Full support of everybody.
The police IG says he aims to address the issue of graft within the force, which has acquired a reputation of being among the most corrupt public institutions.
We are also going to eliminate these complaints about corruptions. They will be things of the past. We want to use body cams. We want to see our officers on the roads when they are rendering services to the people. Because at the end of the day, we can be able, even exonerate officers, or the other way around, depending. So, by adopting technology, it is going to make our work much easier. The supervisors will also be in a pole position, actually, to supervise the other officers. For example, an OCPD can be able to supervise his stations. An OCS can be able to supervise his officers within his areas of jurisdiction by the use of technology. So things becomes much easier.
With the Christmas festivities already underway, motorists have been strongly urged to refrain from drink driving.
And one life lost is one too many. So I want to urge them to restrain themselves, to observe.
We have given police 24 hours to produce Billy Mwangi, save and count. Because when one of us is armed, the rest of the people are also armed. This is your government. You're elected under the ticket of this government. Don't demonstrate against leaders. Lead all of us and we will come behind you to go and visit the family, to go and support them, to go and sing with them, to go and worship with them. So that then to say to government, you must do your bit of investigation. But ultimatums do not necessarily produce the results.
We have come to an end of this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our channel, like this video, and turn on notifications. You can also leave a comment. What do you think about the abductions which have been increasing day by day? Thank you. Let's meet in our next video. Good luck.